don't be long, making ladders out of cowboy sheets. We will be gone, while we're counting stars, they're counting sheep. Peter, all the rest don't make a sound. Just keep running and keep running and keep running. In our heads we're 10 feet off the ground. Just keep running and keep running. Keep running, keep running. Between us sleeping awake, where you can still remember dreams. I swear I'll always love you. You know that place between us sleeping awake, where you can still remember dreams. I swear I'll always love you, and that's where I'll be waiting. That's where I'll be feeling alone. Never thought I'd see this place again. I'm growing old. In a different world, you stay the same. I just hold my breath, don't make a sound. I'm running, I keep running, I keep running. 'Cause I can see you quite as clearly now. I'm running, I keep running. You know that place between us sleeping awake, where you can still remember dreams. I swear I'll always love you. You know that place between us sleeping awake, where you can still remember dreams. I swear I'll always love you, and that's where I'll be waiting. 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 Anywhere you go, I'll be right there. 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 I will. From the moon to the stars, you can show me the way I follow. This is who we are, who we are. Anywhere you go, I'll be right there. Anywhere you go, I'll be right there. I will.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday, June 12th, 2017, and kind of forgot about the E3 conference tonight. Well, I was confused about the time it was on. Anyway, so this stream's actually occurring about 2 hours earlier than normal, and I'll be quitting earlier as well, so we have, so we're not running up against a big E3 conference. the one in question would actually be Sony. Yeah, so where we stopped yesterday. Oops, actually I should probably get rid of that and get on the stream Firefox instance. There. And yeah, where we stopped yesterday, we were we're working on the physics. Oh, it didn't have that. This is my reason. 1 second while I get the project open. Good starts. Good starts. I was gonna open Unity projects. Nope, this is not Unity stream. And there we are. Okay. So what we were working on yesterday was the waterfall spawner. And of course, it's got to wait for it to be loaded. We got it working pretty much how I wanted it. I was noticing that some blocks were getting stuck. I knew that to begin with, but thinking what I probably want to do is actually disable friction. I know you do want friction to make things stop, and then they won't be simulated. So once you go to rest, they'll go to sleep. But in this case, they're not going to ever go to sleep. They're falling. So, yeah. That's got to reinitialize the project. Oh, is that it? Okay. So what we're gonna do today was start developing things in Blender. We might actually delay that a little bit. Probably still start it at least today, but I do want to tweak a little bit more with this. Set its physics down. It's a friction down, today. And other things like that to tweak the way the simulation falls, so things don't get stuck as much, and it seems more like a flowing series of blocks. They do collide with each other, but don't like pop off in the infinity or whatever, if possible. But what we're doing, AI. What we were doing yesterday, though, was oh, and also probably want to mess with the texture settings because it's mipping kind of bad, or it's otherwise causing some artifacts. Anyway, so what we did yesterday is we made this water effect shut down, and you see where it's kind of like all colliding each other. Thinking probably dropping the friction down might actually help that a little bit. Maybe giving a bit more of an initial thrust too. And if we go away from it, it will stop the simulation, which will save performance. Where do we need to go? Here. Yeah, right in there. That way we can have 4 simulations in the level without having all of them contribute to performance. Only one of the 3 clusters. And the cluster that's been doubled up is a bit smaller than the other 2 too, so it's not going to be exactly double one. Anyway. I mean, you got a little bit spare performance anyway, but still. So one of the things, go to cross streams, go to content browser. UV voxel water, I believe, is the one I use for it. Go to cross streams. Oh. Yeah, it's back in there. So. I believe it's UV voxel water. MUV blocks of water, yep. Oh, generate overlappable events is set on. Did I accidentally turn it on for some reason? I don't think I ever want to generate overlap events. Yeah, so meshes. Is mesh enough to do here? So I'm going to do is apply a physics material to it, and I can't remember where that is. Okay. Physical material. Let's do materials. Sure, why not? Even though it's not the same thing. So let's grab this and we'll do water flow. UV water flow. It'll be based off that. Sure, why not? And where's that editor? Oh, come on. So I should probably get rid of this. There we are. Friction 0. Restitution. Let's do 0.2. Density's fine. We'll do save. And then UR flow, we'll save that there. The one box collision is good. So that's good, that's what I want. I'll save this again just in case. Now let's do a simulation. Oh, I guess we can't do that. That looks more flowy. Weird bit of shimmering. Oh, it's from the reflections, right? I was gonna say it's a weird bit of shimmering there, but it looks actually kind of cool, so I wanted to keep it, but makes sense. I was gonna disable overlap events for performance reasons, right? Because I don't really care about overlap events if I yeah. All I care about is collision. So let's save this. I could do a hot reload, but I'm just gonna rebuild the editor. Let's do a build, just in case. And I'll allow Swarm Agent to communicate. Yeah. So you can see the problem here I want to correct. The weird fall off of the textures going around here. Can't tell if it's mostly due to temporal anti-aliasing. Probably not, because I think it was there even when I didn't have it. Or if it's to do with aggressiveness and mapping and all that sort of stuff, which doesn't actually matter all that much because it's one texture for everything here. So whether it's full here, full there, you know, wherever else, it will be fine. So yeah, the what you feel like doing is you know, adding a bunch of units in a map this size, but it just doesn't ever really work out because the bigger your army is, the slower it's going to be, and you'll just be dragging the game length out way too long. As a matter of fact, it's actually maybe too many units from a balanced perspective. That being said, it's also a first map, so you know. Like maybe I should only had one bishop, even though it's kind of difficult to say only have one bishop because bishops can only ever reach half of the tiles because they skip diagonals, right? You kind of need two to have full coverage of the map. That's what I was trying to find. It's here. There we are. Come on. There we are. Hit me. Okay, that's encoding. gonna apply, and hopefully after this build, it'll be able to be saved. There we are. I can save and quit. Then get rid of that. Then rebuild. Ideally, I have the initial seed be random to 5 seconds instead of whatever it is now, 3, 2. So that way it'd be a relatively random flow, assuming that random functions are equal probability. Let's see here, so if I move all the way over here, the frame rate doesn't jump that much. Try to see how much performance my is using. So an i7 processor, it's with encoding video, still not anywhere near max utilization. It's not even half utilization. Let's see if it has any noticeable jump or drop when I go all the way over here. No, there really isn't a noticeable difference in performance. I know doing performance testing off your task manager is not the best idea in the world, but you get the idea. Oh, it looks fine. Okay. Obviously this is not fine because that's, you know, performance of a shallow camera looking down the level. Oh right, now the next thing I do is this guy here. Okay. Do no bitmaps. Let's try that for now. I'm not too concerned about it being performance hog because, I mean, well, yeah. Now, bitmaps do have the advantage of when it comes to anisotropic filtering, but yeah. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, there. The reserve size is like 128 kilobytes. Now in project settings, rendering. I'll check in general settings as well. Huh. Hey, sweet Henrik. Not much. Yeah, the water is set up. I'll show you again. Well, I'll show it again. We just made a couple tweaks a couple minutes ago. Right now, I'm just trying to see if there's anything I need to do to help with some issues I have with the textures. Well, it's definitely made a difference. Okay. I'm going to do something to smooth that out if I could, but it's better than it was, where it just turned to a blurry mess very quickly. Probably want to do something to fix that. Oh, cool. So yeah, this is the water effect we have at the moment. I'll show it from here. We gave it a physics material to give it 0 friction, so that way they wouldn't kind of get stuck together and clump down. They'd naturally just want to fall. It might clump a little bit as one gets stuck on another one that's spawning, but yeah. And okay, so what we're gonna do here, now we saved it, we're going to package a new version out. for performance reasons. .416.4. I'm gonna start deleting some of these old folders, by the way. Okay, so I was given a link. I'm gonna quickly open that off screen. Oh, nice. So this week Henrik, I guess, was working on texturing this. Looks pretty good. Yeah. What you usually see these days is a completely different workflow than that, though. What you usually see these days is something like Substance Designer or Quixel, which will make your life so much easier. So what they do is they have a series of materials from a library, as you can see, like this. Probably Quixel might be actually be better to show. But they have a series of materials, and you literally just stencil on the material you want. So if you have your object, you can say this group here, or like this chunk here, is all going to be iron. And then you want to have some rust, so you just stencil on some rust using the rusted iron material onto the iron material, and that appears in on the place on the model, as you see. And you can use different. A second. Sorry about that. You can then use different stencils for different patterns, so like, you know, rust and cracks and all that sort of stuff. So then when this software, Substance or Quixel, Substance is this company, Quixel's competitor to them. I don't use either. I just haven't got around to it yet. You'll then take the materials that have been painted onto the object and project them onto the UV map you gave it, so it'll generate the textures for you, and it'll look the same as what you saw in the preview. And since it's a PBR material, there's a grab my desk. Sorry about that. So I cleaned it before I started. Okay, so yeah, so instead of having it generate, you know, it would generate how metal the texture location is, how rough it is, how what its base color would be, and so forth. And then you could generate anything in that PBR range. So in Unreal Engine, that would be between metal and dielectric. And then you end up having, well, there's like this. Let's see if I can show gallery. And you can kind of see how this ends up working. Where's a good example, like a robot or something that could work? Let's try this. Yeah, kind of. So you might be able to see. Is there any weathering on these tanks? Or anything like that? I'm trying to see if there's any weathering on this, so I can show where they stenciled on. You can see a little bit of roughness down here. So you see these little scuffs down here. They actually painted that with some scuff material stenciled onto the, in that case it'd probably be blue aluminum. and then that'll generate the meshes out for you. So you don't even really have to worry about painting the textures much anymore. You just take library materials and you stencil it onto your object, and the programs like algorithmic substance, like Quixel, will then generate the textures you need based off of that material library being stenciled onto the object. Let's see if there's any more. Like they probably scuffed on a bit, or stenciled on some dirt on here, stenciled on some wear in the boot here, unless that's dirt. It looks like wear. Stenciled on some dirt here, and the program just generated it for you. So you don't have to worry about that much anymore. Just so you know where the industry is headed, and where the industry has been headed for a little while now. And then at that point, it's just a matter of having a big enough library and of materials in a big enough library, stencils, and the patience to draw it on your object. So that makes it quite a bit easier than trying to, you know, go into Photoshop and being like, oh, I'm just gonna. Do I have a portfolio? Yes, but it's not. Yeah, so the portfolio website I have is actually fairly old, and it was originally for web design. So the idea behind this website was I was trying to do a site that would render the same from IE9 and up. There's one effect down here. This required IE10 and up. But every other effect, even this fading here, would all be done with IE9 and later. Including this, if you notice, this is a moving JavaScript canvas animation, and there's actually a glass effect here. What I actually do is I take the background animation from the canvas image, I then rip it off the canvas, toss it through a blur convolve, after I clip it to this range, then I send it to another canvas and paste it back here. Then I have these objects on top. So, yeah. So here is like, you know, web development tutorials. Hey, the live stream we're doing right now. This is what Check It used to look like back when I was doing this website. Which is taking a little while to load because it's Dreamhost. There we are. That was Check It. And then I also did some WebCL stuff. Come on. There we are. Slow loading. Yep. So that was my portfolio, but then you also see, like, you know, some code samples I have from places on GitHub and whatever. So it depends on what you mean by portfolio, I guess. Oh, right, yeah, now we can close this off, and we can... So I mostly do coding. I do whatever is the most promising at any given point in time. Which probably doesn't work out as well as it should, but yeah. So if someone needs me to do something, I'll typically jump into that for whatever reason. Lately it's been a lot of coding now, a little bit of animation. Okay, so you want me to you want to show me your portfolio? Okay. Going to there. So Sweet Henrik, oh cool, is showing off their portfolio. It's actually really detailed. Nice. Cool. Cool. There's a low poly test there. Cool. Yeah, I was noticing the low poly workflows seem to be very popular these days. Like, was it Oogles? Is that what the No, that's not right. Okay. There's one that, well, actually, one I could show you. This guy. I like this kind of art style. Kind of low poly where you can see the poly, like the edges, but really well lit. Seems to be popular a lot lately. Okay, thank God he was wearing pants. Or here actually is a good example of that sort of stuff. This is very popular lately. There's a bunch of games being announced like that. And it was also popular even before that too. Even in the Daydream VR, the YouTube viewer, has that kind of aesthetic in the surrounding. So let's see here, stat FPS, stat unit. And yeah, I hope this will be high performance. Here we are. Yeah, I'm not really noticing a noticeable rise or fall in frame rate. I mean, it's used to be 130, still going at 140. I guess there may be like 10 frames per second drop on this. So you have an idea for a game, but your skill isn't there yet, so you're working on it. As long as it's not an excuse to stop trying, right? Just do what you need to get there. I usually fall on the side of, you know, I think if someone thinks that they don't have what it takes to do something, that they just do it and see rather than guess, just find out, right? And then you'll find out exactly what you need. And just keep trying, and you'll eventually learn. No longer got the blur effect, which is good. I was a bit worried about the physics thing. I mean, only a couple hundred particles is not, well, a couple hundred physics objects is not that much, but there is that concern of, what if it kills my performance, especially if I want to do VR for this. But it looks like it's fun. Here, might as well start playing a little bit. I'll be calling it quits in about a half an hour because of the press conferences, which is the reason why we're starting early. So we're gonna have to make the stable. It'll probably look similar to our previous stable. Make the bridge. I might want to make a lip at the edge here. I'm not sure. If so, I probably want it to be a half voxel in width. Honestly, part of me wants to have the trim be a little bit larger, but we'll deal with that later. I misclicked. Come on, select. Am I even seeing any real drop in frame? Okay, so I guess the CPU goes from 6 milliseconds to about 8 or from about 6.5 to about 7.5 milliseconds, or about 7 to about 8. Let's see over here because this is going to be the harsher one. Seven kind of dips into 9 a little bit. Should be fine if we stay above 90. That's kind of the bar for VR. Although VR, we have to concern ourselves with what if the player can look at places where we can't control, right? So I do also want to make a castle wall here. It kind of cuts and then goes like that. Could make the voxels even larger. Have the period be 150 instead of 50. So every third voxel would be a voxel. Don't know if that's too big though. I do want to probably raise the size of the texture though. It's going to I mean, it looks fine when it's zoomed all the way in, but probably want to increase that out. Like, for max zoom, I'm not going to be too picky about that. It's going to look weird. And for VR, who knows what the max zoom's going to be. I mean, I'll probably know when I start and I decide, but... Go up to around here. Jump the gun on that one. So what was your game idea anyway, if you don't want to, like, obviously consider... If you start saying, and I say it on stream, to consider it public knowledge, but... So if you want to keep it to your chest, that's fine. If you just want to geek out over it. I know I've been saying a lot of game ideas I've been having. So again, I guess I'd consider it public knowledge, but, you know. If I had my choice, I'd you know what? I should probably just stop doing this. Doing this play run. That is. But yeah. I forgot what I was saying. So that's good. I think I'll go back to the editor. Then I'll actually launch Blender. And open these environments right here. Okay. So now I'm going to save as. It's going to be check it cross streams. Decoration base. Okay. Oh, that's one more thing I want to do as well. Actually, I probably should do this in chessboard because it's easier to build. Right, so what did we move up to 256? Oh, we did. Is it 256 or 512 in this one? Oh, I moved to 512 on this one. Okay. Okay, that's the confusion. I don't care about the top because it's an emissive material. Okay, so one of the problems we have is that the corners are kind of messed up a little bit. So if we go up here, so if we set our X scale and Y scale to 302, or sorry, X scale and Z scale to 302, then we won't have that weird overlap anymore. It'll be actually easier to see in lit mode. So the same over here. And I mean, the material's not going to look right, but we can only see from the inside anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then here we'll do 302Z, but 300Y. And same on this side as well. And the advantage of that is now that this is blocked from light mass. So when we calculate our lighting again, then there shouldn't be any bleed through the corners. Hi, welcome to the chat. So we're looking at lighting only. So we still got those, you know, the bright light coming from the red light coming from the bomb. So that's good. Okay, now let's do the same in chessboard. Sorry, cross streams. So it doesn't matter which ones we do 302 and which ones we do doesn't matter which ones we do 302 and 302 versus 300 302, just as long as they're cross the same crossways. So you don't get weird overlapping on that side. Anyway, right, okay. So in our lighting build, I know we just kind of did that not too long ago, but yeah, part of it's I don't really want to do a whole lot of stuff in Blender if I'm going to have to shut it down in 10 minutes, right? Everyone needs 13 zones of RGB. Okay then. I should start deleting some of these old ones here. Cut down the package size. It's going to be a bit messy, but if you're actually going to package a game, you want to delete the assets you're never going to use, because at the very least it will increase the size of your published build. The worst case scenario actually might even be loaded in RAM. Not that it really matters because Unreal Engine's 64-bit anyway, but get the idea. I'll probably do the same for cross streams as well. Even though I don't actually have anything in cross streams. And actually, cross stream is going to have a lot less static lighting as well because the mesh can break apart, right? Oh, I didn't say that. Actually, I did. Did I say that? So the plan is that when a ring of cross streams, sorry, not cross streams, a ring of King's Cross gets destroyed, it will break apart the plate below it. It's kind of a visual way of describing that. I think for the first version of the game, those 3 maps would probably be sufficient. Chessboard is just for people to kind of feel what's different about it compared to chess. Cross streams will show them my concept of a big map and what probably the largest map I'll make will be like, will feel like, and a little bit of a visual style as well. And then King's Cross. It's King's Cross, right? King's Court. King's Court. Open menu level main menu. It's King's Court, right? Yeah, King's Court. I'll show you what I mean. Okay. King's Court will be the example of the kind of gimmicks that'll be possible in the map. And now I basically won. Yeah, so as each of those tiles would go away, it would break apart the level and have it fall, which means I can't do any static lighting on it because it'll just be cubes that will fall, although I probably won't need very detailed lighting on it anyway, because, I mean, what can you really see? Yeah. I'm really running out of things to do without starting the big project, right? I'm going to want to add more detail inside here too. I actually can probably drop another king. I did want to drop another king at some point, so let's go here. Let's go for there where she snaps. So let me go to C++ classes, check it. And when I say snaps, I mean if you move a piece to a different tile, it'll actually warp to that tile. It's a function I added. And we will give piece state spawn number 3. There we are. So now there's 2 kings. The player on this spawn can make a detachment and go and pick off stuff in the map. You know what? Let's add an extra couple spawns here. Basically what happens when you place C++ chess pieces in the level, like actual chess pieces in the level, not just a mesh, but the piece itself, it will snap to the closest tile. I don't think I should check to see if the tile's active, though. Probably should. Now they have two kings, so they can move the king and a queen up here, and either have one king here to guard the door, move the queen around to kill stuff, or they can leave the queen back and move, you know, really any of these to go and start killing some stuff. Knight's probably not the best idea. Maybe a rook. So we need to do a bridge, we need to do a wall, we need to do a stable, we need to do a lower wall here, we need to do a bunch of like houses and shops and stuff like that, we need to do a big castle wall here, the stable will be the same for these guys here, so I have to do one stable and duplicate it 4 times, I have to do the bridge, I think I already said the bridge though. To do a road. Probably have the road be 50 high and merge into the bridge nicely. Which means not only do I have to make them, I also have to light map them as well, but that's no big deal. Let's probably want to do a little statue here. Compiling Resident Sleeper? Okay. I don't know what that's reference to, though, unfortunately. That's good. Okay. Okay, so this is gonna be it for today. We'll get back to working on this tomorrow. Again, I didn't really want to start a Blender thing to just cut it off in 5 minutes. Cubic water, yes. So the idea would be that. Aw, sorry, Parok. The idea is that on the edge, to kind of signify that the water is falling, the water would spawn, and then just immediately turn to a physics actor and fall down. I think would be a cool kind of effect for a virtual kind of voxel setting. Yeah, so that's everything. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.